Hi, everybody, and hello there,
Hey.
my wonderful cosmic sister and co-host, Corinne Mooney. And welcome, everybody. Today we have Wednesday, March 5th, so we are in March. Isn't that brilliant? It's springtime, at least in our part of the world, right? In Australia, it's probably autumn time, right?
Yes, yes.
So you are watching Cosmic Sister Show with hosts Corinne and Anne, and today we are going to talk about when you go into fear, you revert back into the familiar. And I think we
Mhm.
have touched this subject a little bit when we have been speaking before, but it's interesting and it's something to pay attention to, right? To get to
Yes.
know yourself. And the last show on Cosmic Guardians and with Cosmic Sisters was last Wednesday, February 26th. And we talked about personal responsibility and cosmic creation, how our choices shape the universe. That's kind of intriguing for me too. That was a great show. So if you want to connect with us, find upcoming shows, past episodes, read articles, see upcoming shows as well, everything about us, right? You can go to angelplaceonearth.com/cosmic guardians. And for the episodes past and upcoming, you can go to angelplaceonearth.com/upcoming dash past. So I'm not going to talk much today. What a bliss, right? Let's dive directly into today's topic. So, how are you? You
Oh,
had a
better,
great day today, right?
better and better. And spring is really here in Arizona. I mean, the leaves are already out and things are blooming and fortunately, I say, because we had a very, very, very mild winter and up in the 85s and so forth. And then a lot of times this time of year, we'll have one time where it cools down and it's winter now again for 15 minutes. I mean,
Okay.
long johns and it may snow up in the mountains. So it's kind of interesting, but that'll be our last winter for this year.
For this year, right? We
Yes.
we had a spring day, a couple of spring days. We had 9 degrees Celsius. That is nice for
Oh,
this time of the year.
it is.
And we had a mild winter too. If you consider we could, if we, I call it being unlucky. That's my perception of it, right? We
Yes.
could go down to minus 20, but we never did.
No.
Maybe we had minus 6, 7 at the worst. That's good. That's great.
Yes.
But now it's plus.
It's interesting. All of the different things that we have been speaking about, how we are so motivated to remember our past and find things in there that gave us solace, or because they look the same, we felt safe with them. And it's interesting because when we experience perhaps losing a job, and then that fear starts coming over us, we may revert back to a job that we had that really was not good for us, but it was familiar. You remember the routine, you remember the people, and it gives you comfort because you're not facing something unknown. And even every living being has a way of retreating from danger. I mean, the fungi will pull away when there's too much light. The trees will respond, animals will respond. And our tendency is to kind of pull ourselves together, curl up in a little ball, and just wait until whatever is happening goes away. And this is a good thing because it allows you to kind of regroup, think about what's going to happen. Where it
Yeah.
becomes hazardous to your health, so to speak, is when maybe you're in a caustic relationship and you have been working so diligently making changes and learning self love. and you hit a little bump, and that fear comes in, and you seek comfort from the ones that you have been working to stay away from or have some kind of a boundary with. And this is when it can be detrimental to your forward movement.
Exactly. So fear by itself is something that is natural for us, right?
Yes, I mean,
So we need to have fear. We need to, if I put my finger in a candle, it's going to hurt. A lit candle, right? It's
yes,
going to hurt. That is a part of fear. Or as you said, when we need to take a step back and regroup, rethink, um, what are we going to do? How are we going to manage? The problem becomes when we get caught in the loop and we can't
ye-
get out.
yes, because when you are having that strong emotion, uh, you're looking for the comfort. You're looking for the comfort food. You're looking for the comfort movie you can watch. You're looking for the comfort of not having to push yourself forward. And if it becomes overwhelming, that is the only time that it can be detrimental to your health, and to your forward growth. We all use it. I mean, very simply, finding a time to take a breath. And when I referred to curling up in a ball, sometimes putting the cover over your head and just being in your own little igloo gives you that time to go, okay, I can handle whatever's out there.
Yeah, exactly. No, we are born with all our senses and reactions and everything, and there's a purpose for each one, but
Yes.
not getting caught into them, right?
Yes.
And also, like many things in the spiritual realm, being over the top positive all the time, right? That's the
It's
opposite.
not real.
No, it is not real because life gives us things to work through, right?
Yes.
It doesn't mean that it's a punishment or anything, but we are also co-created with so many others in this world.
Yes.
So um, everything is not love and light, but on the other hand, everything is not fear either or darkness, right?
Yes, it's interesting because we talked about duality and how important it is to have the balance between the two. And things that I have been learning lately, if you do not have the duality for the energy to flow and ebb like this, there is no movement, there is no life. And it's not that everything that we perceive that doesn't feel good is wrong and or bad. It just is different. It is giving us an opportunity to change our perception, and that way we can change our perspective. We can change how we want to react to that. And
Exactly. That is power, human power.
exactly. But that is movement. That is movement. That is life. Life is living. The seasons do not stay stagnant. A
No,
butterfly, would not be born if the caterpillar said, nah, that looks a little scary to me. I'm not going to do that. But it's healthy to have
yeah,
a sense of warning when we are approaching something. It's when that fear just completely overcomes our reasoning, comes over and makes it so we can't see
yeah,
where we're going.
exactly. But you could say that too when humans are giving birth. Because first time when you don't know what's going to happen, a
Exactly.
lot of women are stepping into fear, right?
Yes,
Because it's unknown.
it
It's
is.
and you may even have fear the other times as well because you You may know what's going to come, right? But you know it's a temporary time. It's a time window, time frame.
Exactly.
So it's going to, and I mean, the reward is extraordinary, isn't it?
Yes. That's why I I have such a fascination with children. But before the age of reason, they don't have that initial fear. They have a sense that don't go too far, and something gives them that ability to test it out. But the courage that they have and the willingness to try something and get up and try it again and get it up and try it again, they don't associate that with failure. They don't associate that with a bad feeling. It just is. And getting to a point where you live your life as an adventure and realizing that, oh, that was interesting, something I don't think I'd like to do again, or that's something that I still would like to be I'm curious about, and I would like to move into it. But it's very easy, even in the simplest things, like I am going to go to the gym 3 times a week, and I do it. Oh, I am there. And then the day comes and I go, well, no, I'll just skip it today. So I allowed myself to not have my forward movement anymore and go back to the familiar, which was just taking it easy on that day.
Yeah.
And if I am loving myself enough, I'll get back to do it and continue it. Or turning the
Exactly.
alarm off. Every morning I'm going to get up at this time, and you do it for 10 consecutive days, and then the 11th day you go, that's what the snooze control's for, and you keep hitting the snooze control. So
And something is interesting with that is because there are not everyone, but many people, when they come to that day when they say, I'm going to take it easy today, oh, I ruined my schedule. I'm quitting because I failed.
exactly.
That
And
it doesn't mean that I failed, does it? No.
no, and not realizing that that day that was your best, and
Yeah,
that's the best that you could do. And then tomorrow you'll have a new best. 4 agreements.
exactly. So, guys, we did a show, not one show, a series, 4-part series with the 4 agreements, um, plus a summary. So you can find the whole series at angelplaceonearth.com/upcoming dash past if you want to review and see that. It's great, actually. By the way, I learned something today. It's out of topic, sorry.
That's
I
okay.
got a message that Facebook is going to start removing old videos that are older than 30 days, but they start in July.
Oh, wow.
But we have everything covered anyway, so we have it up there. We have YouTube as well too.
Yes, it's amazing how we think we are in control, and yet everything around us says you really aren't in control. You just have the illusion of being in control, and sometimes that helps, but sometimes, like today, when I signed on, they changed the format, and I'm pressing buttons, and I have to admit, uh, I do not touch buttons. I don't know what it's going to do on my computer because I'm still in the infant stage with this computer, and I'm going. I could do this and get there, and now I can't. And that's almost like living life. When
Yeah,
you get too much of a routine, then it doesn't allow you to try something else or to explore something else. And
yeah,
there again, the
exactly.
forward movement.
Having it all planned out. everything. It's something, it's a theme here in Sweden, to be honest with you, compared to Greece. In Greece, you can just call someone and say, "Are you home? I'm popping by." Or you knock the door, or you just go out, right?
Yes.
Here, you have to plan a meeting. People are usually scheduled for at least 2, 3 weeks.
Unfortunately, yes. 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 But there again, maybe that is their familiar safety of
Yeah,
having everything just set out so they don't have a surprise. And we can get into a rut of overscheduling ourselves.
yeah,
And that does not leave any time for spontaneity. And,
exactly.
you never know when somebody that you see that you haven't seen in a long time and is going to go into a conversation. You need to have the flexibility to be both scheduled and unscheduled. Balance,
Exactly.
balance
And I
again.
think I think that it's a part of fear, maybe, and having control over things, right? So if I schedule everything for myself, I'm safe. I know
Yes.
what I'm going to do. I have my routine.
Uh-huh.
I love routine. I'm a routine person. But it doesn't mean that I don't schedule myself all the time, except for, yeah, obviously working and stuff of that nature, right?
Yes.
But um my routine is that I want to have things in an order that makes sense to me, so I can be spontaneous. That sounds a little bit opposite, right?
Well, there again, there's that beautiful duality. Nothing is cast in iron where we do not have the ability to um, experience something and try it on and see if it fits, and then be able to form a different opinion about it, be able
Exactly.
to expand on what we know.
Yeah,
And so the beauty of the experiment of life, and this is our experiment. We
yes, it
we
is.
we chose it to try as many things as we could, and it's like going to a banquet. Well, I'll have one of those, and I'll have two of those, and I'll have six of those, and then when we come into the actually living it, armed with emotions and feeling and pain and suffering and joy and pleasure, it takes on a whole different concept than what we did when we were kind of looking at the plans. But this is
Exactly.
this is what makes this is what makes our time here so unique, is
Yeah,
that we can have all these different experiences. We can pull them together and see how they worked, and then we can put them in where they fit best in our existence.
exactly. Exactly. But here is fear, you could say. It's something we may label as towards the negative side, right?
Mhm.
And being in that loop of fear. So how can one get out of that, right?
Well, you came up with some beautiful steps. We know that as we are moving through life, things that we have done to embrace loving ourselves, uh, learning that our perceptions come so much from the perceptions of others that were around us. We are throwing in being able to work with the four agreements that give us tools to kind of incorporate what we're doing and make it so we can handle the situation better. And that is part of our unique experience of being able to integrate these other concepts to allow us to, when we get into a fearful situation, we can revert back to not the familiar and go into the habits that we had before. However, we can say, with my new tools, I can look at this differently and I see a different avenue. I don't have to go back to an abusive relationship. I don't have to go back to a job that's killing me. I don't have to show up at the in-laws house just because somebody said it was what I had to do. This is the beauty of making the connection with ourselves.
Exactly. You know, there are many things we can do. Sorry, I'm trying to post here at the same time. So I'm actually posting some steps here. Breaking the cycle of fear, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, first acknowledging your fear. What am I afraid of? What's
Yes,
going to happen if, you know, and if we change that if, because we have been talking about this if before, but what if something more positive is going to happen, right? We want
correct.
to have control, but we can never have control over things that are outside of ourselves.
No,
That's not going to happen.
no,
So you can identify the source also within you. And I think we said this already, to be honest. Is it fear or is it failure or what do I label? Am I feeling rejected? Is it something else, right?
yes, correct.
Um, so understanding the root cause of this can actually help to see things in a different perspective. How about that? Perspective
Yes.
again, perception. And, you know, challenging our negative thoughts because why am I, if I would be thinking negatively all the time, why am I doing that? Why do I always see the worst scenarios in everything,
Yes,
right?
yes,
We are afraid of the unknown, but the unknown can contain just about anything. It can be
yes,
over the top positive, right? And take small steps, seek support,
yes.
have someone help you.
Seek support from those that have been in your new life that are inspirational. Don't seek support from those who had gotten you
No,
into that situation. And that's where your discernment and your strength and your courage to say, okay, I'm at a crisis point in my life, but I'm not going to just go back to that situation that I know was hurting me. And it's going to be takes going to courage and vulnerability to go and ask the people that have been helping me,
exactly.
see a different way. And so it's not a bad thing in itself. It's
No,
being strong enough to go to the old familiar that is just going to let you go, or moving into the new familiar, which is the new lifestyle that you're creating for yourself.
exactly. But one of my number one questions that I hear, when am I going to see some positive change in my life? When's that going to come in? Yeah, most people wants that, right? We want the change. We want something different.
Yes.
We are longing for it. It's coming from deep within. And when things start to change, because, and this is my perception of it, right?
Uh-huh.
So energetically, change means that all the energies are being stirred around. It's a little bit like healing or, changing job or changing other things. We can feel like things are just moving around without our control because it's new. We don't have any old reference because it's something brand new.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
many step into fear because no, I don't. I met someone new, but he's not my type or she. It's totally different. So I don't really, I feel something, but I'm fearful of continuing giving that person a chance, right? Because it's
Yes,
something new.
something
But
new.
at least, everybody should know that when we want to change, we want something new because we don't want to continue in the same wheel things on our journey forward, right? So
Correct.
we have to encounter something that is different. Doesn't mean that we are going to make hasty or fast decisions without considering things, but we need to find that place within that. Well, I'm curious. I deserve to explore this. Just
Yes,
explore. We are not going to sign a contract with someone um, for the rest of our lives, whether that's going to be a job or it's going to be a new partner or a new acquaintance or
yes,
whatever it's going to be, right?
correct. I like a lot of empaths. We really want peace. We want to make sure everybody is taken care of, and we sometimes forget to take care of ourselves. And I
Yes.
had an opportunity to realize how many times that I have never set boundaries for myself. And when I found myself single after 23 years of marriage, um, I became a nail technician because it was something that I could do on my time and still be able to take care of my family. And I had to purchase all of my equipment, my table, my supplies, and everything. And I was renting a station at this beauty shop. And a woman comes in that the owner kind of had an eye for, and she didn't have any equipment or anything. So he comes over to me and he says, "Well, on the days that you're not here, can she use your station?" And I said, "No, that won't be possible." Well, I felt good about it. I had never said no before. However, one of the people that also worked there came over and said, "Karine, that's not like you." And I realized that I had broken a pattern
Excited.
that I had established from living in the familiar. And I quickly went into the ladies' room, locked the door, and did this. Yes! Because I realized that I had actually broken a pattern that had been my pattern for many, many, many years.
Yeah.
And it was incredible that in that instance, fear motivated me to make a change for myself instead of, "Oh yeah, you can do this," and then working my schedule around hers and complying. And
Yeah.
so yes, it was fearful, but I did not feel fear. I felt empowered. And and
That's
yet,
brilliant.
if I hadn't done the homework on myself, I would have felt overwhelmed that I had to comply, and I would have been miserable. So it motivates too. And so it's not really a bad thing, it's just how what you do with it.
Exactly. Many times, when we know we want to take action on something, right? We want to change something, but we drag it out, and it's not bad to take your time,
Oh,
but it sometimes we take a very long time because we are fearful of what's going to come, right? But
correct.
I usually express that as each and every time we are being pushed into the corner, and it's coming harder and harder for each time we are unwilling or unable to make a choice and decision, right? So
Correct.
at the end, it feels like you are in that corner and there's no space because the walls have come onto you, right? So you
Correct.
just need to make that decision. And before you reach that point, when you basically feel this is it, I'm jumping because I can't do this anymore, you can allow yourself to start to make some choices a little bit before that, right? Because when you are reaching that point, it's like you don't have any choice anymore. You just have to act, right?
Yes. And each time when you are up against your vulnerability, up against your challenges, and you choose to just meet them head on instead of completely saying, I'm a failure, I'm going to go back to something that doesn't challenge me because I'm a little fearful. Each time that you do that, each time that you want to turn the snooze on and you don't, you're stronger now. Each
Yeah,
time that you go and work out, even though you really don't have the energy for it, and it may be very uneventful, but you went. You were courageous. You said, I'm going to do this for me. And so that helps build for when you do come across a situation that really is disarming and hits you completely unexpected. And and being
kind
aware of where you are in your life and being able to say, I like who I am becoming and I won't give that up. And I have seen a situation where someone worked very, very diligently for, oh, over a year and would refer to, I know what my happy place feels like and I don't want to give it up. And finding a situation where that was being taken away and then just allowing it to be taken away and not seeking outside help, not being able to come up against it and losing so much from that.
yeah. And I think it's quite common, to be honest, because as human beings, we have a tendency to want to know what's going to come. I want to be assured what's going to come if I do this. But
Yes.
there is never, ever any assurance for
No.
anything in life. And even for myself, yeah, I'm sitting here breathing and talking to you today. I don't know what tomorrow is going to bring
Nope.
to
We do
me,
not.
right?
We do
Like
not.
when I broke my leg again here. Surprise. And I was thinking at that moment, but I don't have time for this. I don't. I'm getting out of the hospital just in a couple of days, right?
Oh yes.
I don't have time for this. But I had
Yes.
to stay there for 17 days. And you know, life happens and it can happen worse things or other things, right? But we don't have any control. So what we can do is just I feel that I'm not happy at my workplace or I'm not happy with my partner. I'm not happy where I am. I know I want to change. Of course we can prepare certain things for ourselves, right? And we should. But
Yes.
we also, if we are unable to choose, we are going to drag out that fearfulness for ourselves because we are caught in it until we make the change. And I always talk about a conscious choice, right?
Yes.
Something that we are aware of. I'm making this. I can decide consciously to say, okay, I admit that I'm fearful, I'm going to remain here, but that is different than from just being pulled back into something, right?
Yes.
Or I make a choice that I'm going to free myself from where I am. I'm going to change everything because that is what I desire and what I want. So I'm continuing to doing that, right? But it's consciously. Does that
Yes.
make sense?
And consciously is energetically.
Yes.
And energetically we understand that some things we can't just abruptly change, but we can start changing how they are affecting us. So,
Yes.
in that reality, we do have control. We can't necessarily control what is outside of us, but we can control how we let it affect us. It can devastate us or it can make us stronger. And that is where we have the choice. And and by allowing ourselves to become stronger, when the time comes to actually make a change outside of ourselves, we're much more prepared for it.
Yeah. Plus something else. Many times where we make a change, people react in different ways, right?
Oh, yes.
So some of them are happy for us. Other people say, "What happened to you? I don't recognize you. What
Yeah,
happened? What are you
that's
doing?"
not you.
Exactly. So self-love and being sure of what you want. And there's actually nothing in this reality we cannot create for ourselves.
That is true.
But we
That
need to believe also
yes,
in our personal power.
we have to believe it, we have to feel it. And
Yes,
when we do that, then we start knowing it. It's not just a pipe dream. It's something that can feel within our being that is motivating us to move towards something. And it's such a different feeling when you are moving on knowing than belief. And in my opinion, only my opinion, a belief is something that you picked up from other people and how they believe that's going to work. Knowing is something that is uniquely yours. And you have this sense that this is not for my highest good. And you may not know where that feeling is going to lead you or even be able to see how you are going to be able to survive outside of that, but it is so primal that it motivates you to do things that you didn't even know you were capable of doing, like saying no, I am not going to share my table.
exactly.
you know
And I have a feeling that was very unexpected because
oh,
they assumed you would share, right?
it was, and I wasn't mean or nasty. I just said, no, that isn't going to work. And apparently, the people that I'd been working with for a very short time had seen my other persona of always making do, always, enough to make a comment. And it wouldn't have even dawned on me that I had made such a drastic movement forward unless that person had come up to me and say, well, that's not like you. And I'm going, no, it wasn't. What a wonderful thing. And it's amazing how you don't even know what you're capable of until you make that move.
Exactly. And this reality is full of expectations, assumptions, everything. We are supposed to fit into certain things.
Uh-huh.
Specifically, if you think about gender like man or woman, a man is supposed to do certain things. A woman is supposed to be in a certain way and do other things, right?
Yes.
Um, and if you step outside of that, you are strange in some way, one way or
Yep.
another. But there's, anything in this reality that we can actually do, accomplish. If someone can do something, there's a way for me to do that too. I
Yes.
always had a big mouth on that. I never said to myself, you can't do it. Yes, I can, but maybe I'm not going to be able to do it the way you do it, or someone
Correct.
else is going to do it, but my way, right?
Correct. And there was an interesting thing on Facebook where it said, those that stand back and criticize someone that is trying to do something are the ones who will never try.
Exactly.
And so don't limit me by your doubts. I don't know. I am unable to do this until I make the effort to attempt to do it. Uh,
Exactly. And you know that there's no such a thing as failure, because someone who finally succeeds probably has failed 20
oh,
times before. You have to
failure.
try, you have to keep on doing it.
That's right. Failure is your friend. And
Yes.
it gives you the opportunity to say, okay, well, I know that that way won't work, so I'll
Yeah.
have to come up with a different way. And every very successful person in life has said that the failures will teach you as much or more than the successes, because when you succeed, you have a tendency to just let the status quo. When you
Yeah.
fail, it again motivates you to look at it from another angle.
I have a nice story. When I was young, I was 18, I think. I decided, sorry, to take a driver's license for a motorcycle.
Yeah, I can see
And
that.
it's a little bit, yeah, it's a little bit difficult here, and I think they do good because it's way you have to pay attention to more things when you drive a motorbike,
Oh, yeah.
rather than a car, because you have the car around you as a protection, right? But the thing for me was I never and I only went with an ordinary bicycle. I didn't do anything else, so I had no experience whatsoever. And first lesson, they took us out outside of Stockholm, um, in a closed area, and I didn't even know how to how to drive that thing. So I was heading straight towards a little where house they had there for stuff they kept, like a storage. But I didn't hurt myself or anything. But I had to train myself to all couple of hours, 3 hours, to just being able to ride the thing, right? I
Yeah.
had over 40 lessons, but I got my license and I said, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to have that because if someone else can drive that thing, so can I.
Well, if everyone that ventured out quit at the first sign of adversity, you and I would not be talking, because
No,
we would have never known there were people on the other side of that big ocean, and we would have just kept going along as ourselves. We would have never had the telephone. We would have never had X-rays, and X-rays came as an accident.
yeah,
Penicillin was an accident. Was something that, well, look at that. That's I'm curious about that. Why did that kill off those germs? So failure is actually a friend. I mean, you don't need to walk around saying, I succeed in failure, but when you succeed at failing in something, you will then succeed in what you are doing. And
yeah,
there again, understanding that it is not there to break you down, it is there to give you the opportunity to find the best way.
exactly.
And it all of the exploring that humans do, all of the curiosity of, why does something fall when you let it out of your hand? Why does something rise when you do this?
Ex-
So evolution, if we do not evolve, And if we do not integrate the things that we have learned and failed and then relearned, then we're never going to progress ourselves to that self love, to
No,
that, having a world where there is unity, not sameness, just saying, we are the world.
exactly.
You
And,
know?
and there's something else to this too, because sometimes, as human beings, our circumstances change, you know, what we can or cannot do. And some of us are stubborn. I'm talking about myself. Kind of refuse sometimes to see that I'm changing also. So because I had like I have been driving motorcycle. I have been driving a four wheel, like
Yes.
the one that goes off road. I've been doing a lot of stuff, diving, bicycle,
Driving a
and
tractor,
yeah, exactly, a bulldozer, a real big
bulldozer.
bulldozer.
Yes.
Yeah. So in my world, I can do everything, right? So I
Exactly.
couldn't take that thing that I just in an uphill scenario, I just kind of fell off and I broke my leg. But sometimes we also it's not a failure thing either, because things change. We get a little bit more mature, and it's our body. It's sometimes natural. Even if I still feel that we can heal many things, we can probably heal everything, but we're not there yet as a
Yeah.
species, right?
But we're getting there. We're on the
We get
cusp.
it.
We're on the cusp of really comprehending that we are so unique and we have the capability of doing everything within us, and we do not need the outside world to change us for us to be better. And we are
Exactly.
so close to making that evolutionary jump that we need to not be drawn into the falsities of you're not enough. You can be better if we put this machine in your body. We can be better if we put this implant in your head. That is going to stop all of our forward process and our progress.
Yeah.
So, you know,
And anything saying that we are less than. So we are taught to worship certain things, right?
yes,
People above us, entities above us, things above us, right? But
yes,
we are not less than that. We're not.
no.
No.
And different is not a bad thing because it gives us a different perspective of looking at something. And I'm going to just be very down to earth here. All of the wonderful different cultures that have brought different flavors and different cuisine, I would be very, very sad if I could at least try. It's not real Italian or real Mexican or real Chinese, but it's a version of it. And it gives me an opportunity to sample that. If those weren't there, it would be very dull and boring to have porridge every day. When
Exactly.
you can have pancakes and you can have lava things and you can have all kinds of other things, crepes. I mean, this is this is what this experiment of life is being able to try on all these different outfits.
Yeah.
And I may like this better and I may tend to go this way, but we have that wonderful opportunity. And it's like everything that we do in life. And yes, we have been molded by those that we have been taught that we have to respect, we have to obey, we have to kneel down to, etc., etc. And that was good because it got us to here. Now let us take that and find out who we really are. And if we get into that fearful place, seek out the ones that have gone just a little bit further instead of going backwards to the ones that are going to take you back down.
Yes. And the thing is that what is familiar to us can also be referred to as our experience of something, right?
Yes,
So things that are out of our own experience, we cannot really understand them until we try them for ourselves,
exactly.
right? We
Exactly.
can't because we haven't done them. We haven't tried it.
And enjoy failing because that's one more time that you're not going to have to do that particular failure. You're going to go, oh, well, that purple suit doesn't look good on me, so I'm not going to go there again. I'll try the blue one or I'll try the green one. And this is the beauty instead of saying, well, I failed because I don't have the ability to pick the right color for myself. So I'm not going to pick any colors at all. I'm just going to wear black. And this is where letting your soul evolve.
Exactly. Or because someone says to you, someone is very blunt and says to you, that hair color doesn't fit you, or I don't like the dress you're wearing, or that's an opinion. So
That's an
just
opinion.
thank you for sharing your opinion, but I don't agree with you.
However, if you felt comfortable with that, uh, and you don't have to have brand names to impress anybody, you're way ahead of the game. One time when I went up to Lake Tahoe, it was a very formal affair, and I don't like being cold, so I made myself a fake fur cape. Now, I really did not want to be cold, so I lined it with an old blanket that I had. And then I put the silky stuff on the inside, so it looked finished. And I know it's fake. I made it, and I went into this casino with all these people wearing their real furs, and all I wanted to do is not carry it around because it was very heavy. So I took it to put it in the cloakroom, and I handed it to the person. I said, I'd like you to keep it for me. And he says, ma'am, he says, we have to put the furs in a special place. And I said, it's not real. I said, look, you can see where I sewed it. I'm sorry, ma'am, we have to put the furs in it. So my cheap homemade fur went in with all of the big fancy furs. But it's okay. If someone had come up and said, well, that looks homemade, I would have said, yes, and I enjoyed every moment. It's how you allow things that come at you to
Yeah.
um, to affect you, and when you start incorporating, don't take things personally, don't make assumptions, and being impeccable with your speech. And today, this is my best. Today, without allergies in Arizona, this is my best. And I'm okay with that. I don't have to be the best that I was when I don't have allergies, and that's fine.
Yeah, and you don't have to be the best that someone else is thinking that is the best of you, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Because you carry your response. That is your personal power. So
Yes,
our response, even though many things are in our hands, the things that are out of our hands, we still have the power with our response.
that's right.
So
How it's
beautiful.
going to affect you.
Yes.
So you came up with some wonderful steps to help us find our way of navigating through a
Yeah.
physical situation, and I thought those were so beautiful. So I'm gonna stop, zip it here, And I'm going to allow
Okay,
you to bring these
to
wonderful
tell
things
them.
to us. Yes.
I actually posted them as comments, right, to share
Good.
them. But we
Good.
have both our articles around these topics. There are um, good. No, I rephrase that. So I'm starting off with the comfort of familiarity. The comfort of familiarity is that we know, we think we know. It's a perception that we think we are sure we know something, right? The downside is that it may feel safe, but it things we are familiar with, right? Our experiences,
Yes.
things. But it's not going to make the change for us that we probably want, most of the time want, right?
Correct.
So, how can I break the cycle of fear? Because fear is at play here. So, breaking the cycle of fear and familiarity requires conscious effort and self awareness. And the first strategy is to acknowledge your fear, is to recognize and accept your fear. Don't try to fool yourself. Admit to yourself, okay, well, I am aware now that I am fearful of this situation, right? Understand that being in fear is a natural response, that it does not define anyone, right? We have fear for certain reasons. There's always a reason for everything we have here in our reality, but it's not letting that fear take over. So acknowledge your fear, right? And the second step, identify the source. Determine what is triggering your fear. Is it fear or failure? We talked about failure, right? And there's no such a thing as failure. Rejection, maybe, or something else.
Yes.
Understanding the root cause can help you address it more effectively because you needed to address it. You don't need to explain yourself to everybody, but to yourself, right?
Uh-huh.
And the third strategy, challenge negative thoughts. Fear very often comes with negative thoughts, right? We're thinking the worst case scenario, right? What if in the worst scenario, not what if in the positive way, right? And we doubt ourselves. So challenge your negative thoughts by questioning these thoughts' validity. I don't know if I expressed the word correctly.
You
Please.
did. Yes.
Okay,
Validity.
thank you.
Yes.
And considering alternative perspectives, coming back to perspectives again, perceptions, right? So there's always a gazillion ways to see things. So we think that we know because we come from a certain experience. So we see things in a different light or a perspective. But there are so many other ways to see things, right? And the next one is take small steps. Overcoming fear doesn't have to happen all at once because usually it does not happen. Many times we can change small things, we can change in an instant. Bigger things takes a little bit of time. Be patient with yourself. Don't kick yourself on the behind, right? Because you're not thinking negatively, thinking you're not doing the right thing. Start by taking small manageable steps towards your goals, right? And
Yes.
sometimes that can be like, okay, I'm going to research my options, starting there to see can I see that I have to pick and choose from, right? There's
Yes.
always a way. And each step will build your confidence and reduce your fear because you're going to see progress. So you can give yourself a nice, I love you because you are progressing, right?
Correct.
And the fifth step Seek support, but seek support like you mentioned, not from those who are going to have only opinions and sitting there saying, you're not, I don't recognize you, you're not doing the right thing. Seek support from those who are not pushing their opinions on you, but are giving you suggestions. That is a nicer way, right? So this
Yes.
is something, it's a possibility, it's an option, that's different. It can be friends, family, or professionals. Having support can make a big difference in managing fear because you have
Very
someone
much so.
else
Yes.
to talk to. And sometimes just speaking about something, that happens to me a lot. When I put words on something, I immediately get the answer that comes from here, right? Because
Yes.
it's almost like, why did I even say that? Because I already knew. But stating it helps to connect with that thing. And practice mindfulness. Mindfulness techniques such as meditation and deep breathing, and whatever else you feel for, can help you stay present and calm in the face of fear. Because no matter if we are fearful of the future, right? We are still here. We are not in the future. We create the future from this present moment right here and right now. So, this can also help you develop greater self awareness and resilience. And it's not bad to be a little bit tenacious. I say stubborn.
It gets us through.
It does, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It gets us through.
I think that, if I wouldn't have had that, I love my stubbornness, but like everything else, it's how I channel it for myself, how
Yes.
I make use of it, right? So
Your
if there's
yes.
yeah, if I would say, well, I'm going to do that again, I'm going to go up on that electric bicycle again because I'm just going to do it. Maybe that's not for me right now, right? So maybe that's better not to be stubborn there, but to be stubborn. Okay, like when I said my new motto, I'm going to I I do what I can with what I currently have, and I look forward,
Yes.
driving forward, right?
Yes. Your tenacity to get well and to do what you were encouraged to do, and you stuck to that. That is where that stubbornness really comes handy. Yes.
It does.
Yes.
Yes, it does. So, um, don't say that we are out of conversation now. It basically never happens, right?
It never happens. However, I think uh, that our conversation is going to, we can take it and put it on the shelf, and then we can start right up with it next week. So this is the beauty.
Yeah, it is the beauty because everything is connected, and basically, and you stated the four agreements again today, and they are so valid, right?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
everything we talk about basically comes down to self-love, self-awareness, and connecting with yourself and not losing yourself in the midst of everything because we do live in a little bit of a crazy world, don't we?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It doesn't really look like um, some years ago. It's really off in many ways now. And here in Europe, we have war, and I know we're not supposed to talk about these things, right? But it's kind of,
Yes.
we are living 2025 and we have war in Europe. I don't really, I don't know what to
And
say.
you can't call it anything but what it is. And I wanted to add something, and I'm going to be as I'm just going to say this. Please do not judge the American people by the opinions of a few, because when you judge a whole by the actions of some, you really don't get the full perception and full perspective that this is not necessarily what the majority wants or condones. And um, we are in a very interesting time in our life. And it's, again, for some reason, we have chosen to have these types of experiences. I looked on my contract, and it didn't mention that these were going to be specific things, but however, the love and the light that we hold within ourselves and the self-love that we give to ourselves and projecting this consideration and thoughtfulness whenever we can, we are doing an amazing job. So please keep it up.
Yes, exactly. And I want to add something to that because if we think globally, all around the globe, if we take the skin off, we all look the same. Everybody. Everybody looks the
Absolutely.
same. We have been raised and born into different cultures, different ideas, structures. That's all. But I think each and every soul and individual on this earth, actually, I mean, not the few, but I mean the masses,
Yes.
just want to experience themselves, have a decent life, feel love, feel safe,
Yes.
security.
Live
That's all.
love and have the experience with community. And I guarantee you, when our off-world friends start showing up, we're going to start looking at ourselves a whole lot differently, and we're going to
I
go,
hope.
"Ooh, well, I don't have six eyes, and but all you guys have two eyes, so we must be of the same tribe." you know, so
Yeah,
you know, it's going to be an enlightening time.
it's going to be, absolutely. It's going to be perfect. In the end, everything's going to be perfect. And then we need to keep thinking that because we don't want to feed the negative way of thinking, right? Because we can actually manifest and create. Maybe we cannot stop everything as individuals, but we as a whole, we
Yes,
can actually do radiate good energy
very
based on love,
definitely, very
real
definitely.
love.
So don't go into the fear.
No, there's no reason. So we can kick out fear. We can use fear when it's appropriate, like I said in the beginning, right? I know I'm afraid of putting my finger in a lit candle because I know it's going to burn me. That is
Exactly.
healthy. Yeah.
Correct.
But we don't need the other stuff, do we? No. Mm-mm.
So just keep
So,
smiling, being happy, and remember to laugh, and remember that failure gives you an opportunity to see possibilities.
yeah, and to change something, correct something, and do another try
That's
differently.
right.
Yeah. I'm going to keep on trying until I actually do it, right?
Exactly. Oh, Yoda says there is no try, there is only do or not do. So we
Okay,
will we will do. We will do.
we we do. We are doers, aren't we?
Yes.
All of us. Yes. So, is there anything else we want to add?
I think I am talked out.
So, thank you, everybody. Like, yeah, we have been enjoying being here with you as always. You have been watching Cosmic Sister show with Corinne and Anne, talking about when you go into fear, you revert back into the familiar. You can find all past episodes and the upcoming at angelplaceonearth.com/upcoming dash past. Our next upcoming show is going to be next Wednesday with Cosmic Sisters and me and Corinne, March 12th. And we will talk about effects of the past. How can I know I released them? Yeah, how can I know that? That's interesting, right?
Yes.
And we go live for you every Wednesday, US and Europe, and every Thursday in Australia. So you can connect with us, find upcoming shows, past episodes, read articles, and more at angelplaceonearth.com/cosmic guardians. And thank you again for watching us today. We so enjoy this.
Yes.
And see you next week. I say love, life, peace, and joy to everyone. What do you say, Corinne?
And love, light, peace, and laughter.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.